Morning, guys. It's a really beautiful day here in Texas. We got down to about 30 degrees, but the wind isn't blowing. Yesterday it was blowing real hard. I was working anyway, but I was just gonna talk about a couple of things. An interesting experience at work. It's funny. It's how you get guided into things. So there's been several patients that I've talked to about my carnivore experience and my ulcerative colitis stuff, and like I said, I never proselytize to people. It's like you're guided to be in a certain place, and uh, it's always patients that are not my patients. So, in other words, we get an assignment for the day, and we go out and we do our assignment, but we help our coworkers, if they get busy and they can't do something. So, I went and did a treatment for my coworker, and this lady had just had surgery for a ruptured bowel. Um, so I was asking her about what happened, and that she had been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis last summer, and she took all the meds, did all the stuff she thought she was supposed to be doing, and was getting ready to go to work. And one day, and her bowel actually ruptured because it had so much ulcerations, and so they actually had to remove part of her bowel. And now she has a colostomy, which they'll be able to reattach it eventually, but when it heals up. But it's so I was telling her about, I was like, I mean, I don't compare. I'm not comparing what I had with what she had. Obviously, she had something much more severe. However, I think had I not done what I did, mine would have become that severe. And people with really severe ulcerative colitis end up in the hospital for anemia, weight loss. You're really sick, and when you can't process food, when you can't digest food anymore, it you're done. Like you're a goner. And so they put him on all these immunosuppressant drugs, and she got put on those drugs, and they still didn't help. And so I was telling her about carnivore, and it was interesting to hear. But when she was my age, which was interesting, she got sick at the same age I got sick, actually. And anyway, so that was kind of cool, getting to talk to her about that. And she was very receptive to it. And I mean, she was writing stuff down, and you could tell that she might, she could at least have a path forward because, like I've said a million times, the medical system, the doctors, they don't know, and it's kind of like what we're seeing now on. I mean, you have a person who's very highly educated, right? I mean, these doctors have so much training. They understand physiology. They understand the chemical reactions at the cellular levels. I mean, they're really masterful at that stuff, but they don't know just something that would be common sense, right? And it's so weird. It's like this heavy indoctrination towards um, it basically it supports this beast system, and uh, everything is pushed in that direction, and you get rewarded if you um, accept that and use that as your template. You get rewarded. If you go the other direction, you get punished. You can see that with the climate stuff, with the climate scientists who get, that come out and speak against, the hoax, the climate change hoax, pushing uh, global warming and pushing all this stuff so they can carbon tax, so they can put people in a box and, really just fleece hardworking people. Um, when in reality, they have the technology, so we don't even have to produce carbon anymore as a waste. We don't have to burn fossil fuels, but they it's like a big giant scam, and people are kind of waking up to it, I guess. I don't know. It's like it's very similar in the situation with the political stuff. I mean, if you can literally believe that Joe Biden is a good candidate, if you can literally believe that he actually won the election, I mean, you could believe anything, right? you could believe in unicorns, and actually I actually believe more in fairies and unicorns than I believe that he could have possibly won that election. And but yet these people just listen to the spin, and it's the psyops, the giant mind control scheme. And I was driving with my daughter to school, my youngest, and we were talking. I was telling her about this lady at the hospital who got sick, and I was like, man, there's just so much information out there. I can't understand how people could not know. I mean, this lady was very educated. I mean, she seemed like a very educated person, worked her whole life. I didn't ask her what she did or anything, but um, she obviously was doing well, and thought she was doing all the right stuff. She's like, I eat salads every day. I thought I was being healthy. I thought I was preventing disease and all these things. And my daughter was like, Dad, they're just people are lazy. She said they don't want to they don't want to do the work. I mean, this is coming from a 13-year-old. I mean, you know, it's true. I mean, it's like we're just and I'm including myself. I'm lazy. I could do so much more. Um I could be, you know, doing more research and doing more work, but um I kind of have a work smarter, not harder philosophy for my life. Um I watched my parents work really hard and ended up, they ended up divorced and miserable, and uh, really, they could have been very, very wealthy. Anyway, they had to work. I mean, they did well. They're hardworking, good people, but you know, the point is that the point is that people don't want to do they don't want to do anything. They want to be told what to do. The sheep analogy. People are sheep for the most part, and we have to. I guess we just got to just roll with it. I mean, it's hard for me to comprehend how people could support somebody like Biden, but on the other side, they can't understand how someone could support someone like Trump because they're listening to the mainstream narrative. They're listening to the mind control shills, the people that are just pumping out mind control. And so I guess we have to learn to be acceptant, accept the fact that, you know, and another thing too is really interesting is on a spiritual level, on a godly, energetic level. I've talked about this a million times too about just, having, free will, and having this godly energy will not usurp your free will. And even invited. I mean, let's say you said, God, I want to just have the most amazing experience. I want to experience, what you really are and all this. Even then, God will still protect you from yourself, because that's really just ego, right? And people have lost their minds trying to reach higher states of consciousness. They've actually gone crazy, and you have to protect the divine. That it's so subtle and so profound that it would never override that. It's your ego that will make you crazy. It's that pushing out. Look at people who injure themselves working out, or do damage to their body because they're trying to improve themselves. They're trying to do better. Like this lady at the hospital, she's eating salads every day, thinking, God, I'm cutting edge right here. I'm the epitome of health. I'm doing what the establishment's telling me. I'm eating fruits and vegetables, and I'm eating plant-based diet, and ends up with a ruptured colon. And it's just like, can't fathom it, right? You can't fathom that what you've been doing this whole time was a complete lie. And I think that's where we're headed right now, and that's why it's going to be such a bitter pill to swallow, because when the rug gets yanked from underneath these mainstream media outlets, which it's going to happen soon. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, but it's going to get yanked from under their feet, and they're going to have to um, accept the fact. They're going to have to admit they were wrong. They're going to have to, now they'll never admit, oh, we were wrong about Biden, but they will have to admit that Trump is the president. I mean, that's going to be in their face every day for the next 4 years. And if someone can still follow along with that lie, because it's a bald faced lie, if they can still follow that lie after all this evidence comes out, after all the testimony comes out, after the Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump, and if they can still believe that Biden actually won the election, there's no hope for that person. They're gone, right? They're gone. You know, God bless them. I hope they have a good journey, but they're gone. They're done. There's no possible way that person can ascend to a higher level of consciousness. They're stuck in a trap. It's like you stepped into a bear trap and you can't free yourself. You know, when I was talking about that samurai spirit, that warrior spirit, what did Jesus say about, if your eye offends you or your hand offends you, cut it off or something like that. There was it was kind of a warrior statement, right? I mean, the things that aren't serving you, abandon them, cut them off, get rid of them. And when I say serving you, I mean in a godly, energetic, soul expanding way, not an ego building way. Um, but those people are done. They're goners. They can't. There's no hope for them. And and like I say, on a spiritual, godly, energetic level, it's not about a judgment. It's just about you're stuck. You can't move. To free you would be catastrophic. It would cause catastrophic damage. So we're just going to leave you there in that space and you know, let you stay there. It's not a judgment from the universe, the God, whatever you want to call it, the energy source. It's not a judgment call. It's just you're unable to go farther, and you're going to stay here. And it's the same for all of us. I mean, even people who are quote unquote awake, you're still only at a certain energetic level. I can only go to the level I can go to. But that being said, in Sahaj Marg, there's a saying that Charji said that um, he was the third president of the Heartfulness system, and he said that the lowest of the high is still higher than the highest of the low. And what he means by that is when you realize a certain level of enlightenment or a certain element of realization, a certain level, you're still at the highest level of the lowest. You're higher than the highest level of the low. So these people that have, all this material wealth and they have, incredible amount of power and they might have access to the best drugs and the best medicine and the best health care. They're still at a lower level than the enlightened man who's living under a bridge in a cardboard box. So I mean, it's good to keep that in mind because on a spiritual level, on an energize, when you leave this physical body and you energize to a higher, whatever level you're at when you leave this body, you're going to energize to that etheric realm. You leave this physical body, you're going to go to that level, and it's just an energetic thing. It's not a judgment because if you went to a higher level, you couldn't handle that energy. And so it's not a judgment, and that's important to understand. It's totally not a judgment. We have free will to, we have the free will to make a bad decision. We have the free will to make a choice not to go, not to ascend, not to be at a higher level. It's totally our choice. But I will say with heartfulness and the heartfulness meditation, I feel like an energized level in my heart center. I feel energized in my heart. I feel like I'm living at the heart level more than I'm not. And then that's a new experience for me. That's just started the last few weeks. And I can feel attunement at that level. I don't know how to explain it really, but it's like I just feel like charged energetically at that higher level. And like I say, it's not because I'm special. It's just doing the practice, the simplicity of it. it just ushers that in naturally, and it just like I said, it's just the beginning. I feel like I'm a baby learning to crawl, and but this planet is shifting. It's shifting energy. It's shifting to a higher level. People talk about, December 21st, 2020 and 2021 being, like an ascension type thing. I don't know. I don't know what to believe other than just my own experience. And my own experience, taught me that that is possible. There is a possibility that that could happen. And it's better to be prepared for that. And because actually, whether it happens or not, it's like being healthy. You could say, well, I'm working out so that, if I have to change the tire in my car, or if I have to, do something, I'll be able to do it. That's a great goal. But maybe your car tire won't go flat. Maybe you won't have to exert that energy. You just don't know. But it's better to be prepared for that than not. And I feel that way on a spiritual level, getting closer to the divine, whatever that means to you. I mean, it might mean all kinds of different things, but centering in that self, the big self, and being conscious of the divine, being trying to just giving the effort of crawling towards that divine, even if it's a crawl, you're literally on your belly. Sometimes you feel like you're just on your belly, figuratively, crawling towards God. That's still better than not. And so I just hope y'all keep the faith. It's all going to work out. I've heard a lot of different theories, some interesting theories in the last few days, about what's going to happen. That Trump is going to, he's going to get the second term, but he's going to hand it off to someone else. Things like that. And this lady Usava I follow, she's a psychic, and she's made a lot of predictions. She's basically saying that, JFK is still alive, JFK Jr. is still alive, and he's going to be part of the Trump administration, and actually he might even be the next vice president. I mean, just stuff like that. It seems really far out and crazy. So we'll see if it happens. I think that's cool if it does happen. I like to have an open mind, but not so much that my brain falls out. Um, anyway, hope you all have a super tremendous day, and love to you all. Keep doing your work. Keep working on opening and expanding, whatever that means to you. And have a great day.